Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am your Ash Dragon Rayron VR, and today we got another Icey news video for you guys. Today I was looking over at the Digitrax website, and as of today of this recording, they have announced two new interesting products. They just announced the UP7 Local Net Universal Panel and also the PM74 Power Management. Now for the UP7, it is going to replace the UP5s, and probably the most important thing here to note between the difference between the UP5 and the UP7 is that they have a new kind of design on the back of the panel. It is now, I kind of have to show you the picture of it, but basically you got two ports in the back, one in the side, which if I remember correctly is different from the UP5s. It has one in the back, two on the sides, which is interesting. It's more personal preference when it comes to wiring, but probably the big one I'm going to be talking about is going to be your PM74 power management. Now, what's interesting about design is that they've got a fully enclosed case, and it also controls up to 4 power manager sub-districts, which we'll take a look at the schematics here in a second. Replaces the PM42. And probably the interesting thing about this is that each power sub-district or detection section supports an auto-reversing, or the big thing here is short circuit management, which now they have a product that competes against the PSX. Is it better than the PSX? The more I think about it, I don't think so, but it's nice that Digitrax is trying to come out with their own products to deal with short circuit management. So let's take a look at the UP7. So this is what it looks like. Nothing too much has changed. I wish that the pins were on the top versus the bottom, because you can see the small little pins there can gather dust and grime and all that. That's why some of the other NCE throttle panels, the pins are actually on the top, which is the way I prefer it, because then you don't get the dust and grime and all that on the pins on the bottom. But neither here nor there. 19 MSRP, and kind of stereotypical when it comes to a panel. Let me see. This is the PDF instructions here, and so this is the design right here you got now. You've got your terminal strips are on the back, and you got the wall wart, the insert right here, and then you've got your 3 ports in the back, 2 in the front. So you can see kind of a redesign from the UP5. So this is what they're upgrading to, and UP5s are now considered legacy or / discontinued item. So kind of interesting that they're finally coming out with a new throttle panel. I am curious to see if this is going to be compatible with NCE throttle panels, but we'll see. I doubt it though, highly doubt it. Now the one that I really want to dive into is the PM74. This one's got me excited because of the short circuit protection. Again, it's kind of a direct competitor against the PSX, and I would not imagine that's why they probably came out with this design. And you can see this is how you can wire it. The booster goes into the 2 middle ports. Why the 2 middle? I don't know. I think that's an engineering preference. But we do have the LT5 remote status, which is pretty cool, because I think this is your 10-pin ribbon cable connection that you can send to a DS74, so that way you can get block detection, because this thing also has block detection. It's a nice little all-in-one package. But the thing I have problems with the PM74 is that it's either an auto-reverser or a short circuit protection board. It's not both, and that's where I think the PSX AR is far superior than this product, because you can only wire it to do one thing or the other, not necessarily both. But I think what's cool about this is that you can break up your sub districts 4 ways versus a normal PSX way. If you guys remember my video from the last train show that we had, I kind of broke down how the PSX system works and how you divide it into sub districts. Digitrax actually came out with this little guy here that allows you to break up into 4 districts. Now what you can do is hook these bad boys up, I would imagine still to a PSX, so you'll still have PSX protection if you can't wire it through a PM74. But it's kind of interesting to see how that would actually work. So I definitely want to grab me one of these and just experiment with it. Probably won't put it on a layout or a modular, but again, it'll just nice to test. But yeah, it's pretty cool that you can divide a power district into 4. and that way you do have short circuit protection with it. I think that is the big selling point when it comes to PM74, is that they are trying to compete against the PSXs, and the fact that you can do it for 4 districts, I think that's pretty appealing for $100. I can't quite remember how much a PSX goes. Let's see how much they got in here. So one PSX AR cost $53, looks like, on Tony's Train Exchange for DCC Specialty. So it is definitely, but again, this is an all-in-one PSX AR. You know, it's got the short circuit breaker protection and an auto reverser, whereas this one you can only do one or the other. But the fact that you can divide this into 4 districts for $100, that's actually pretty darn good. And then you can potentially put the PSXs on each 4. So really interesting to see what wiring schematics we can actually develop thanks to this little PM74. Now, the other concern that I have is, do you want to put all of your eggs into one basket? At least with the PSXs, you're able to separate the districts on the individual modem boards. But then if this one piece of equipment here fails, then that means you failed all 4 districts. So again, it's kind of a trade-off. Do you want to put 4 PSXs together, and if one goes down, you only have 1 district, whereas as this one goes down, then potentially all 4 districts can go down. So kind of an interesting trade-off depending on how you want to do it. But I think another interesting about this is that you can use it as normal block detection. You can have 4 block detectors. I think kind of another thing that is kind of convenient too is that you can connect it to local net. The PSXs, you can't do that. So again, for those of you who have JMRI capabilities, you'll have that local net connection. So again, there's a lot of interesting and promising things with the PM74 with that. So I'm not going to go too much into the weeds. You guys can look on the Digitrax website for these products. Again, just announced today on the 13th of April 22. Brand new UP7 and the brand new PM74. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below, and I'm definitely looking forward to these 2 products. And with that, guys, I'll see you on the next video. Wing hugs to all, and to all a good night.